My name is Fereshtehs Forough. I'm the founder and executive director of Code to Inspire, where we opened the first computer coding school for girls in Afghanistan.
My name is Vivian Phung, and I created an app called Restroom for All that finds gender-neutral restrooms anywhere in America. Well, anyways, there's a whole entire story behind it, and I can't wait to continue talking to you about it.
Why did you get started with coding? Like, how did you get excited about being a coder, and what was that aha moment for you to think of, yes, I think I love coding, and I found it like the way that I want to pursue my career?
So I love math before, and I took a bunch of math classes in high school, but I never knew how I could combine my love for activism and mathematics. It just doesn't click. But once I found computer science through the program, I realized computer science, mathematics, activism, you can play a huge role in them. You can make a huge difference in the lives of others through computer science, using mathematics and activism.
So there are a lot of tools, I think, that human beings, if we use them in a proper way, they can be very empowering to us and very supportive to the particular problems that we may face in a society. So how do you think, in your personal experience, coding really empowered you and gave you this capability that you can do and you can empower not only yourself, but you can empower others? What was your feeling about that?
So I learned how to code 9 weeks before I made the GNR app. So I could see, I know the difference I made. I know that even in 9 weeks, computer science gives me that much power. And so, I don't know, I try to tell people, it wasn't, complex or an algorithm or anything like that. It was just simply using an API. If I can do that in 9 weeks, you can do anything in, at a span of, 100, 200, however long you live.
So I wonder if through the coding projects you've done so far, the programs you have done so far, did it give you another perspective or a new perspective about what's going on outside of the world, or it opened your eyes of what's happening in the world around you?
So talking about GNR, we won the Congressional App Challenge for our congressional district, and we went to the Capitol Hill. And what happened was, we were standing next to a bunch of Republicans, and not Republicans, but say every district. There's a bunch of districts, and we were next to Arkansas or something like that. And they would look at our app and they would just smile and nod and not even ask for our give us your presentation. It's self-demeaning because all of us were LGBTQ, and one of the reason why we created the app in the first place was because a simple thing. My friend couldn't find a restroom to go to that was gender neutral, and they didn't feel comfortable going to the restroom, and just going to a restaurant. It should not be a difficult thing to do. So yeah, just going to see the most of the country, most of the world is not that accepting, and I live in a place that is very accepting. And I have to learn to be able to not censor myself, but see the eyes of other people. For you, how did you get started with coding?
So with the school, the Code to Inspire, the organization, so definitely for me, I think the main important reason and inspiration was being born as a refugee. So I was born as a refugee in Iran during the Soviet invasion. My parents fled Afghanistan and they moved to Iran. Growing up as a refugee, there are a lot of challenges that we are facing, and one of the challenges that I was facing and a lot of refugees was accessing education. So we had to show proper papers to the schools that they could enroll us, and if we weren't able to show that paper, we weren't able to be at the school. So that was a big challenge. Every year with the fear of going to school was with me. And then when we moved to Afghanistan 1 year after the fall of Taliban, I got into computer science. I got my bachelor's, and being a woman in tech, and you're talking about Afghanistan after Taliban, there's a lot of challenges, social limitations, and pushbacks. So these reasons really made me to think about how I can improve the situation of women, not only studying in a safe place, but also giving them the resources that they can use that resources to learn a skill that they can make money and bring income to the families. So that was the main motivation and inspiration for me to open first computer coding school for girls in Afghanistan.
Wow. How did you know you could do that? Or like, what gave you like, I don't know, I guess what's your aha moment that brought you to like found this huge this organization that's amazing?
Well, I think, again, like my life story, being born a refugee, being a woman from Afghanistan, being a woman in technology, and just experiencing how technology is very powerful, because when I came to the US, and I wasn't able to go back to Afghanistan because of my immigration situation, I did everything online. I used technology as a tool that empowered me to do everything online. So I did the organization online. I shipped the equipment, recruit the students, finding mentors, designing curriculum. So for me, it's fascinating to see, as a refugee born who was deprived of accessing education, how a tool like technology can help me to give back to my community and actually tackle that problem in a way that women would be able to pursue what they want in a safe space.
That's amazing. So how would you say that do you use code to connect girls globally?
Yes. That's a great question, because when you talk about technology, you're not talking about countries' geographical boundaries. You're talking about the digital world, that everyone can be part of it without considering any geographical boundaries. So you can be a digital citizen of the world without considering all those limitations. And that's the beauty of technology, that can connect people around the world without asking you, do you have a passport, that you can pass this border. So you can pass borders without requiring any papers. And for the girls in our school, definitely not only to open their eyes what's happening outside Afghanistan and what the world looks like, especially for women in technology and the things that women accomplished so far, but also like give them a platform that through the skills they can connect to the global market and find jobs as freelancers, work and get paid, so that they can be financially in a better position. So to make that happen, that was a long journey, again, talking about a girl coming to our school that never touched a computer, never been online, but now talking about the girl who can create a website and who can get paid by making that happen.
You inspire me. I just wanted to say, would you say you always had the skill to do all of this? What helped you build that? Like, how can somebody become like you? Do you have any tips for them in?
Well, I think part of it is personal.
Yeah.
Like, what are your motivation factors, and what motivates you to drive you to do what you love about and what you want to make a change. But also, I think I always tell friends that I'm a risk taker, so I'm not afraid of risks and challenges. If I feel I want to do something, I go for it. And if you're with a good intention, everything will come together. The most important thing that I would suggest is that don't wait and sit on your ideas. If you really feel about your idea and you want to make it happen, just make it happen. And then don't sit down on it and just give it time. And surround yourself with people who have the same passion as yours. This is very important to build a community around yourself. Especially when we talk about activism and technology and bring changes in the community. When you have people around yourself that they have the same passion as you, then your voice will be heard louder and you will have more support. So that's definitely. The rest, to be honest, it's just you have to reach as many as people you can and never be afraid of if they say no, they're not interested, or no, they're not able to help. Just move on and believe in what you're doing and you make it happen.
Wow. I surround myself through the Girls Who Code. I love the organization just because the alumni network and not even just the alumni network, but what it constitutes, like who you surround yourself with, all these girls who are passionate about computing. That's not very common, I realized, after like stepping outside of it. Would you say that, all your girls in one location, or like are they in separate locations, and do they communicate in any way, or how do they get to know each other?
Right. We do have now one location right now. It's only in Herat. It's a city in west of Afghanistan, and we've educated about 150 girls so far in the school, and they're all in the same place. What we always try to do, and I always try to push, is the sisterhood. Make the girls be together, make the girls to communicate with each other. If they have ideas, share it with their peers, and that's the kind of support you will receive. And our students did an amazing job creating a lot of apps and games that were geared towards the issues that people were facing in society in Afghanistan. So to me, I think that providing that safe space for the girls to come together, to not being afraid of raising their voice, and to feel that there is like a sisterhood here and there are others that they support, was the force that they were able to actually do the things that they've never been able to do before and make that change in the community.
Yeah, it gives them a lot of power. I know the difference between a girl who, me going through the program, I changed dramatically. My whole class changed dramatically. Coding makes a huge difference. Would you say that, so you got into college for computer science, you said?
Yeah.
Did you face any challenges going in? Like, were you the only female in the class, or like, how did you face those obstacles or get over the feeling, if you did?
Yes, so when we moved to Afghanistan in 2002, that was like 1 year after the fall of Taliban, so the infrastructure wasn't really ready for a lot of works, especially with education. But the city that I'm from, Herat, was one of the safest cities that time. So when I got into computer science to have my bachelor, well, we had a big class of probably 80 students. And out of that 80, probably 10, 11 were girls, that not all of them make it to the end of the class. So definitely for me to be I was very active, very vocal. I was always interested to do a lot of social work and bring changes in the community with the work that I'm doing, and not a lot of people like that. Not a lot of people would like to see that time a girl to be that active. I was against the traditions and the cultures that time. The women's supposed to be home and not working, not being that active, and I wasn't like that. So I faced a lot of backlashes from the community, from my classmates in the school. But again, the most important factor for me was sisterhood, finding the girls who have the same passion and voice as me. And also, my family was very supportive from the very first day. My family invests on their girls' education a lot, and that's the two things that made me to be able to go through all the challenges and obstacles that I was facing.
Wow.
Well, I think in Afghanistan, the situation must be a bit different because, again, we are talking about a country that went through war for decades, and there's a lot of issues. But I'm more interested to know how about you as a girl in coding and in technology and in living in the United States. What were the other challenges? What were the things that you faced when you wanted to learn coding? And what was the perspective of the community around you about women or girls learning code?
You talk about your parents supporting you. My parents were kind of like the opposite. They were more about females either be a doctor, like nurse, like go into like the medical profession. And they believe you can be smart. They just think that computer science is reserved for males. Because you don't take a shower, like that's what they told me. They're like, "Are you sure you want to do this? This is not like." And then the coding camp, they didn't want me to do it because. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like other issues that came up was like being at home and being like the stay-at-home mom was a very still relevant thing. My family is like super conservative, and so I faced the challenge of being like, oh, I'm like a queer woman, and I do all these like the gender neutral restroom app, like Benham Pits Me as well, but they didn't see it as a very good app because they're like, why is this needed? And I guess that's my internal struggle, but like externally, I think the world, I've been in classes like discrete mathematics, I took in high school where I was like one of the three only females in the class. And I would be afraid to talk. And I'm the one who would normally speak out in class.
Yes, I agree with you. I think if you are the first in your family, in your community about doing something that no one has done before, you definitely face backlashes because you're the one who is trying something that no one else has done. And they're all like the thoughts and the ideas all of them have is that they're just afraid of it because they don't know it. And I think, again, with the beauty of technology is what you're doing and what you did. You used your skills and you built that app because you saw that there is a challenge and there is a problem here your friends are facing, and you were like, well, I have that skills and I can tackle that. And I think, again, like that's how it will bring all of us together as a community, together and globally connected when there is a problem, and then we can come up with a solution on that. Perfect. So I think, the things about connecting the girls globally, which again, based on my experience, again, like I think this is happening right now. I'm talking to you. So I think like globally, like we are from different countries. We grew up different, but with using technology, you and I are able now to have a conversation and get connected and share thoughts. So definitely using tech as a way that globally we can connect women and girls and everyone in the world. We'll go back again to the idea of sisterhood, but in a modern way, in a different way. The moment that you and I now are talking together, we both come from different backgrounds, but we share the same passion. We want to use technology, we want to use coding to bring a change and awareness in the community, and also to just create more role models for women in technology, because there are not a lot of role models when a young girl is just like growing up and you ask them about that. They can't name a lot of women, and unfortunately that's the way that happens before. So with the technology, again, you don't need to have geographical boundaries limitations. You need an internet and a computer to get online, share your thoughts with people around the world, and get connected. And that's what we do with Code to Inspire. And I think with your app and with the work you're doing, that's the same message. You want to really send your message, not to the people in the US, but to the world, because the app that you created is not only geared towards people in the US. That's a global issue that a lot of the LGBTQ community are facing in a lot of countries. So not only you tackled a problem that you saw your friends are facing, but you are addressing a problem that a lot of people around the world are facing. So that's the beauty of technology and getting globally connected together.
Yes, that's a beautiful answer. Could I ask you one more question?
Yes.
Okay. You're very good at speaking and like being able to articulate your words well. Do you have any recommendations for like being able to do that better? Even I know it's not related to coding, but.
Well, I was very afraid of public speaking, and I hated public speaking a lot. But I forced to because of the work I'm doing, and I think you'll have to do that because of the work you're doing. And to be honest, I think there are a lot of techniques out there. People suggest you should go to public speaking classes. People suggest like bring a crowd of your friends and family and stand up and talk in front of them. Talk in front of the mirror just as much as you can to practice. So I think just like practice and time will improve that. I wasn't very good I don't say that I'm very good now, but I think just if you go to more places, talk more, you'll get through that, and you're doing amazing, and I'm pretty sure you'll do great. So just do whatever makes you feel more comfortable about yourself and make that happen.
Awesome. Yeah. Closing out the conversation, thank you so much for having this conversation with me. Girls Who Code and the Sisterhood is so happy to have you in it, and I can't wait to get to know you better outside of this conversation. All right?
It was a pleasure talking to you as well, and I'm so grateful of knowing one more person who's so amazing and doing great work at coding, and hopefully we'll continue our sisterhood together and we can come up with some other plans and thoughts. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you too. Bye!